Hey guys, this is Jason. I'm reviewing Sinners, directed by Ryan Coogler and stars Michael B. Jordan as twins. Both are called Smoke and Stack, where they go back to Mississippi to put their criminal lives behind them and open up a juke club where a bunch of people can come and just have fun and listen to the blues. But then evil comes knocking at their door when some unexpected visitors come and want the twins to invite them in. This is also Ryan Coogler's first horror film, and this time he decided to make it a vampire movie. I do think Ryan Coogler is a fantastic director, not just for the Black Panther films, but he's also made some great films like Fruitvale Station, which was really good, and I loved Creed. And I think Michael B. Jordan is one of the best actors working today, with movies like Fruitvale Station and Creed and the Black Panther films and Just Mercy, which wasn't directed by Coogler, but it is a really good movie. I pretty much loved Michael B. Jordan in almost every film he's in, except for Fantastic. I don't know what happened there. Now, this film does start off a little bit slow, where we're introducing some of the characters that will later become a big part in the film, where we get to learn a little bit about Smoke and Stack's backstories and what made them criminals and what made them want to come back to Mississippi, which that could be kind of a slow burn for some audience members that could get them to think that the movie can be kind of boring for a while. But I can appreciate it because it does build up a lot more of what the rest of the film is going to be and gives you enough time to get you into the characters and to care about them throughout the film. And that's something I kind of miss seeing in movies nowadays, where the first half of the film has characters that are being introduced, you learn about them and you want to care about them, and then stuff goes bad in the second half. Sort of like Jurassic Park, where that movie introduces its main characters, you learn about them and what's going on, and the bad stuff hits the fan when the T-Rex breaks out of its cage. Or in the Fly remake with Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis, where you learn about our two main characters in the first half and then the Fly stuff slowly happens in the second half. Now granted, those films kind of fit in a different genre, but a similar idea where you care about the characters in the first half and it all hits the fan when the vampires come out. And you do get invested in our two main characters, Smoke and Stack, and you understand why they have to look out for each other, because Smoke is supposed to be the mature one that's supposed to help try to set things right and make sure that they don't get into trouble again, who has a troubled past that he's trying to move on from, and he's doing it by opening this juke club that him and his brother are doing, while Stack is supposed to be the naive and hot-head brother that would always get himself into trouble, and Smoke would have to come in and get him out of it. And seeing both of their chemistry throughout the film definitely carries the entire story, and Michael B. Jordan is phenomenal as both of these characters. He plays these characters so well, from being both the mature and stern Smoke to the hot-headed Stack. This is easily one of my favorite performances from him, and every time he's on screen as both of these characters, he steals the spotlight. And these two characters might be my favorite performance from Michael B. Jordan. I loved him in Creed, and I loved him in Black Panther, but this role in particular, where he plays two characters, he knocked it out of the park. Hayllee Stienfeld is really good as well, and without getting into spoilers, her character does have an intriguing part in the film relating to the main twins, and when you get to learn more, it gets you invested in the character, and once you see how this movie handles her later in the film, it gets you really interested in what's going on, and Hayllee Steinfeld gives one of her best performances, and I'm a fan of hers. The rest of the other actors have done a great job, like Jack O'Connell as one of the main villains. Another actor that stole the spotlight is Delroy Lindo as Slim, who brings a lot of the comedy throughout the film, and the humor gratefully doesn't ruin the tone. It doesn't mess up the horror tone that it's going for. It definitely has a good blend of using it, where sometimes when you would have horror moments that are supposed to be creepy and then it ends with a little joke, which you would think would be out of place, but it actually works here. But there's also one actor I haven't covered yet, and he also takes the spotlight in this film besides Michael B. Jordan, and that is Miles Caton as Sammy. Again, no spoilers, but his character is important throughout the film, and he carries the spotlight just like Michael B. Jordan and Hayllee Steinfeld do. And according to IMDb, this is Miles Caton's first film, and he nailed it in his performance and his singing voice as well. The cinematography is really good. This is a beautiful looking film where we get great shots of the backgrounds as well as a lot of long takes. We would sometimes get some long takes where characters are either going from one store to another, or a scene where a character is going to one room to another, and then back to another character, and then they go back to the same room. And a lot of that is done in one take in that scene. There are no cuts, no shaky cam or weird edits. It's all done in one take, where we also get some creepy shots as well. In particular, one scene in the shadows where you see a bunch of glowing lights in the shadows. I also gotta mention that there's this one cut and edit that they use for this one certain scene that I thought was very chilling. And the best way to describe it is that there will be one scene where a character's walking away and then another character behind that character does something and then it cuts to another scene. That's all I'll say there. That part was very chilling to me. Now, if you're a fan of vampire movies, you are gonna have a fun time with this film because there are a lot of brutal moments that happen later in the second half, and it's very bloody. It does not hold back on any of that. The music by Ludwig Göransson is also a highlight, and the music in general does play a big part in this film. And the music does make the blues be a big part in the film. In particular, there's this one scene where Sammy is doing music on stage. I'm not gonna say anything else there, just wait for that scene when that happens. This movie also goes through some themes and some metaphors that are supposed to mix with the tone and kind of give a more deeper meaning to the story and kind of explain more of why this movie's called Sinners. Because this film isn't an average everyday vampire film, it's actually a little more deeper than that. Now, this film does have some similarities to the other vampire movie directed by Robert Rodriguez called From Dusk Till Dawn, where that movie was about two brothers who are also criminals and have to hide in this big hideout that they think is a club, but really is run by a bunch of vampires, and they have to survive the whole night killing them until sunrise. Like, those similarities are there, but this movie does some different stuff with the characters, the tone, the setting, and the dark themes, where it does make it feel like its own thing, so it doesn't really become a glaring issue. Now, I do have one flaw with this film, and that is like a romance subplot between Sammy and another character that he later meets, where it's only shown in a couple of scenes that don't really matter for the rest of the film, and it kind of felt unnecessary. It didn't feel like it needed to be in the film. It felt like it was just there to give Sammy like a little subplot for him to be involved with someone, but for the story that they're going with and what they're doing with Sammy for the rest of the film, it felt like it was almost pointless. Now, there were a lot of films this year I was excited for so far, but there have been some films that have really disappointed me, unfortunately, where there were movies I was really excited for but turned out to be either okay or just not very good. Like Wolfman disappointed me, Captain America Brave New World disappointed me, and even though I still enjoyed Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning, I was still kind of disappointed with that, but not Sinners. Sinners was one of those films I was excited for and ended up being as good as I hoped it would be, where it had great characters, great tone, it had great dark themes, it has really good cinematography, and great acting from our leads. If you love vampire films and you're a fan of Ryan Coogler, I strongly recommend watching this film. It is on Max, so you can find it there. I'm gonna give Sinners an A. So guys, if you have seen Sinners, either in theaters or on streaming, what do you think about it? Do you think it's one of Ryan Coogler's best films, or do you think that this film is overrated? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you liked this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing, because it helps my channel grow. Hit the notification bell so you know what other videos I'm posting. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.